Hello, hello, hello. What a delight to have you here on Woman Without Limits. I am Lady Bishop Kathy Kiuna, and I know that this today is going to bless you beyond measure. I'm so excited, like I can't even hide. I'm so excited, and I just can't hide it. Ooh, because the guest I have today, we've been talking about this for like 2 years, all right? But guess what? In God's time, the Bible says he makes all things beautiful. So wait on God. In his time, everything's going to be all right. I have an amazing guest. And I know, listen, if you have not been watching Woman Without Limits, please go ahead and plan to and invite your friends to do it as well. And I want you to like, share, comment, subscribe, even while you're at it, because it's been amazing. It's been life transforming. The people that I've been bringing onto this show have been absolutely tremendous. And I want to thank God for that. Today we have yet another one. I'm telling you, you better buckle your safety belt. Are you ready? Buckle your safety belt. The man I'm about to bring to you is normally on the other side. He's the one who asks the questions. He's a mighty journalist that is known all over, not just Kenya, Africa, the world. He is absolutely amazing. And so today, I want, without any further ado, to welcome Dennis Okari.
How did you do that? You know, I was just watching you, and I'm thinking, is that an auto cue you're reading or something? So flawless.
I don't do auto cue. I just flow. I don't
You're
even.
not stuck at any point. You're just rehearsing those words in your mind.
It's just a natural thing for me.
Do
you understand? Because I'm a storyteller, and I love hearing people's stories. They really, and you know, people are known by their stories.
Oh yes.
And it is the stories that turn around lives.
Yeah.
So, Dennis, here you are today.
You look so lovely.
Thank you.
Love the dress.
Thank you.
I've always been on the other side, and today it feels very strange. But
to be on that side, eh?
This is how it
hot
feels
seat,
being
hot
here.
seat. See how you take us through hot seat now. But you
I'm
know
seeing
what?
the set. I only see the program on TV.
Yeah. But don't worry. It's not. It's this. We don't do hot seats. We just talk.
No. And that's what I love about Women Without Limits.
Right.
I'm a big fan. Even before coming to the church, used to watch it. And every time you announce you're releasing it, I keep watching.
Yeah.
And like you said, it's listening to people's stories where you really relate.
You find yourself, you
Yes.
relate.
Yes.
And then you get so healed. Some
Yes.
people get really, really healed from maybe even depression because they've been feeling like they're alone. No one has ever gone through it.
Exactly.
Then they hear somebody who's not just gone through it, but has come through and made it and has come to tell the rest, like Joseph.
Yes.
Guys, we got this.
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it.
Yeah. You're welcome, Dennis.
Thank you for having me.
So, a lot of people know Dennis Okari. Like, it's a household name.
Yeah.
You're known everywhere. And you've kept very well, by the way. Do you know from the first time I ever saw you, you have never changed.
Oh, really?
You're the same. You're constant.
Well, I think it's being at peace.
It's being at peace.
Yeah.
So let's start with Dennis. Dennis, who is Dennis? Like, people know you as this mighty journalist, but who's Dennis? Where are you coming from?
Well, I'm Dennis Okari, like you said.
Yeah.
I'm a disciple of Christ.
Wow.
A son in the house.
Yes.
A husband and a father.
Yeah.
Mine is very simple. And a villager.
And
A villager.
so we rewind and go back to your childhood. Where was Dennis born?
Oh my God, that's a long story. You sure you have time?
I have time. What I have is time.
I was born and
What we
raised-
have is time. Yeah.
So I was born, and I normally say this to a lot of people and they don't believe.
Yeah.
But I was born and raised in Dandora, in Eastlands.
Dandora here.
Just here, Dandora.
Okay, you'll tell us about this March English.
Oh,
After-
I'll tell you the story.
About the March English. My goodness, you were born in Dandora.
I was born in Dandora.
Dando sits in mtaa.
Huko ni mtaa mbaya sana. Hapo ndo niligrowia.
Hey,
Yes.
so you were a Sheng guy?
Yes, kulikuwa na Sheng Yadi. But hiyo sheng ya D, you know, that's like the mid-90s, late 90s.
Yeah.
Saizi ukiongea hiyo sheng,
Yeah.
kwa majenzia wataelewa.
So
Ni
ya
sheng
D
ya
ni
uzee.
gani?
Ni sheng ya uzee, ni ile ya kitambo. Ni ile ya kitambo.
So kuna ingine sasa?
Kuna sheng, like those days used to say Buddha. Ama father is sheng.
They don't say that
Saizi
anymore.
Budesco is other names.
Jesus Christ.
I listened to the sheng today, even in Dandora.
Yeah.
I was there the other day, and I was so lost. That's how I knew we've changed generations.
Yeah.
And the language has also equally changed.
Oh, wow. So it's no longer the Buddha.
It's no longer Buddha.
It's
You can
Buddha.
actually stand kwa stage.
Hey.
Somebody anakusengenya na utashika ni wewe,
What?
but they're discussing you.
Because the sheng is deep.
The sheng now is so deep.
It's like another whole language.
Ile yetu is just
It's like
nothing.
pidgin English, like
Yes.
the Nigerians with pidgin.
Exactly.
Hi.
So it's changed,
Yeah.
but you know, growing up in Dandora, the little or the much I can remember was, comparing where I was born and raised up to where I am today, worlds apart.
Right.
Worlds apart.
Yeah.
Because back then, I think as it is today, I was born and raised up in a fairly normal home.
Right.
With a father and a mother. And I'm so grateful to God that he gave me and my sisters and my brother, because I'm the firstborn in the family.
Oh, you are?
I'm the firstborn in the family,
Okay,
yes.
yeah.
And
of what, 4?
Of 4, yes.
Okay.
I have 2 sisters who follow me, and then lastborn is my younger brother.
Yeah.
And so growing up in B, Dandora,
Yeah.
we kept moving from one place to another. Then we stayed in Dandora Phase 2 for the longest time, near a place called Dunia 1 Stage.
Okay.
I still remember the names.
Yeah, Dunia 1.
Dunia 1.
Okay.
Hapo ndiko inaitwa hivyo.
Yeah.
So my father was working for the government. My mother was doing business. And so we were raised and grew up in a fairly normal home where you have a father,
Just
you have a
simple.
mother, simple home.
Yeah.
We lived in and this is the thing. We discussed this with my dad today. We just laugh at how far we've come.
Wow.
So we lived in a plot because D watu wanaishi kwa ploti.
Yeah.
So we were living in this plot. The last house kwa plot, that's where we used to stay.
So the plot had like how many houses?
That plot had 1, 2, 3, 4.
Oh, 4
Only
houses.
4 houses.
So were you doing communal toilets?
Oh, yes.
Oh, really?
Kwani kuna atuko na choo kwa nyumba na bafu. Mimi nilikuja kuionea 20 years later. I never even knew that people can live in a house and you have a toilet and a bathroom in the same house.
Inside the house?
That was not my reality. 20 years later is when I discovered, wait a minute, unaenda kwa choo kwa nyumba.
How?
So my culture shock when we moved from Dandora now to somewhere along Gong Road to a government house,
right,
where it was a maisonette at tunapanda stairs. I was like, what? That was a miracle to me.
Like, is this our house?
Like our house, unapanda stairs.
Yeah.
Then you have a toilet and a bathroom inside the house.
Inside.
It was a culture shock for me. So initially, hata hutaki kwenda hiyo choo kwanza.
Because you're scared.
Because you're scared.
I know of somebody, this is true story, Dennis. I know of somebody who came to our house from Shags. He came from Moranga. I won't tell you who that was, but he came from Moranga. And we took him to the bathroom. He literally took that water and drank it, the toilet water, and he did his business down. Because how? This is drinking water. This is drinking water. How
now, our culture shock was first, it's not just a bathroom, it was a bathtub. I was like, what? I'd never seen a bathtub in my life. So, like, unaogeaje hapa ndani?
Yeah.
So, initially, you'd wash your clothes in the bathtub. Because hapo si pa kuogea, ni kama basin kubwa.
Yes.
So, we used to say ni karai kubwa. Yeah. So, it was that culture shock. But, you know, growing up in Dandora, back to that story, is our father was a very hard-working man. My dad was a very hard-working man. Iyo ploti, I'm telling you, we had 4 houses. We were like living like the best life compared to the rest. You know, you live in a bad environment,
but
and in your bad environment, you're better than your neighbor.
You are the Sonkos.
Yes. Sisi tulikuwa wadosi hapo. Mko kwa ploti ya nyumba 4 peke yake.
Right.
And the neighborhood was so rough because I went to school at James Gishuru Primary School.
Okay.
That's where I went to school.
Yeah.
So this is next to the biggest dump site, I think, in East and Central Africa. The big, unasikia dump site ya Dandora.
So it started those days, the dump site?
Oh, it's been there for I was born and I found it there.
Oh, wow.
So I actually don't know how old it is. It is
Yeah.
so old.
Wow.
So that's where all takataka yote ya Nairobi.
Yes, all the dirt,
That's where
all the yeah.
Exactly. That's where
yeah,
it's
garbage.
taken. Yes, that's where it is taken. And so I went to school there, and every day I'd never, you know, when people talk about fresh air,
Yeah.
I'd never experienced fresh air during that entire time
Because of
the pollution,
garbage. Wow.
the garbage and the pollution.
Yeah.
The skies were always gray.
Because they would burn them?
Yes, plastics, rotten foods,
Yeah.
any kind, all garbage you're thinking of from
Right.
every home in Nairobi
Yeah.
is dumped there by the city council trucks back there.
Right.
So you can imagine, you dump there, it's this one space. So every day you're doing it for years and years on end.
Oh my
so
goodness.
how do you manage it? You just
Yeah.
burn it.
Yeah.
So you burn things that are poisonous, you burn things, all
Because
kinds
you're
of
burning
things.
plastics, and of course that's what
Exactly.
now people are inhaling.
Yeah, and that's why we went to school. So
Wow.
we grew up in that environment where all we knew was pollution, gray skies, nothing was really clear. So you're in class, you're smelling this plastic, and there's nothing you can do.
Yeah.
That was our normal.
That was your reality.
Yeah, because you couldn't compare that life to any other because that's all we knew. So there was no comparison that there's something
There's
better.
better or there's different environment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So for us, that was our environment.
Right.
So it was really rough growing up around the school because, again, outside school, you're growing up as a kid, and now you see the reality of everyday life around you. You see people getting killed. I saw people getting killed as a young boy. I saved one gentleman from getting killed.
As a little boy?
As a little boy.
What?
We're just playing football in school.
Yeah.
Machokora ndio hao. They're chasing somebody who had a suit and like a briefcase. And I'm screaming, they're carrying knives. I can see knives. They want to kill the
stab
guy.
him.
Exactly. And I had to scream. So as a little boy,
Yeah.
all you know, like a baby, you just scream for attention.
Right, right.
So I was just screaming for attention to help
The
gentleman.
man, yeah.
Cut a long story short, eventually, they never really got to him. They
Oh,
got
so
scared.
you distracted them.
So I distracted them.
Yeah.
The gentleman jumped in. We didn't even have a fence. Our school didn't ever have a fence, a proper fence.
It was an open school.
Yeah, so somebody anaweza ingia na atoke. So that's how it was.
Wow.
And so
Wow. So it was a rough.
it was a rough neighborhood because we used to walk from school, go for lunch at home, then back to school, and then in the evening we go back home. So
Right.
we always used to look forward to Friday. So Friday was our best day in primary school.
Because why?
Maziwa ya Nyayo. Free milk. Oh my God.
You found it. Let me tell you, that milk was too nice.
And the
it
taste,
was too nice.
I've never tasted milk that
was the
tastes like that,
best.
Maziwa ya Nyayo, for some
Actually,
reason.
it was the best.
It was.
It was the very best. Wow.
It
So
was
you
really
enjoyed
good.
that?
Oh, we looked forward to Friday.
Yeah.
3:45 p.m. I'll never forget. Maziwa ya Nyayo, it used to come in those crates. You get two, you fight over with friends, you get another one.
Yeah.
So that's where I grew up. And back at home, despite the challenges of, at night when you sleep, you have these criminal gangs that are terrorizing people. We used to have one called, I think it was 42 Brothers or 40 Brothers. It was a criminal gang.
Yeah.
Those people are bad.
They were feared.
They were feared. Even the mention of the name, you just feel goosebumps all over your body.
Because they would murder and do crazy
things. They would
things.
kill, they would steal, they will do all kinds of things. And the thing was, this joke of fungua ama turarue. Those people live in the slums and polythene houses where somebody shouts fungua ama tutoe wembe.
So you open or they cut it off?
It sounds like a joke, but for us back then, it used to be fungua ama tuvunje. So you hear they've pounced on the plot next to yours.
Oh my gosh.
So once they knock on the main gate, you just open all your doors. Kila mtu fungueni mlango.
You cannot even be serious.
Yeah. So the next plot you get ready, you just open your door.
Because you know they're coming.
Yeah. Why do you want to get killed? Just open the door, they take whatever they want to take, and they go.
They would take and go.
They would pack everything. It was like a night operation. No distraction. They would come.
What are you saying?
Yes, they would come, just rob the entire plot. Ni wote mmeibiwa. So every day in the morning, in stories.
You are discussing how they came.
Yeah, where walikuibia nini?
Oh no, it's so sad, but yet so funny. How? Like you open your door knowing that they are coming nevertheless.
Yeah, they are taking any valuables they'll find. They'll take the black and white TV, because we never used to have a color TV
Of
then.
course.
Black and white TV, your stereo system.
Yeah.
If you have little money, they will just take anything.
Everything.
They'll take everything.
And wipe your house clean.
Yes. Then start all over again, and you hope and pray that they never come back again.
And they would still come?
They will still come.
Tell me, so what about police? Were they reported?
You know, growing up as a boy,
yeah.
You can't, our understanding of what the police would do, because we understood the police are there to maintain law and order.
Right.
But later on, as we were growing up, that's when we began to understand, oh, so sometimes criminals can collude with the police, allow them to carry out their operations, and then disappear. So as a young boy, you know the respect we had when you saw a police officer.
Yeah.
And with our naivety and our ignorance, you know, you respect a police officer. That they're there to protect you. They're there to maintain law and order. Then as you grow up, you hear stories, then you get really disappointed that, oh, so police can also be criminals? Also, they can also give out their guns for them to carry out their criminal activities? So these were stories we used to now hear later on. But our neighborhood was like that. You never knew. It was so unpredictable that every day we wake up in the morning, our mother used to prepare us to go to school, and we'll go to school as normal. Then you come back from school, kuna mwizi ameshikwa. So, you know, as kids, you're so curious, you run. Towards where there's a crowd. And
you ran to see action?
Yes. And I remember one time, I mean, the image is still fresh in my mind. This is years later. I remember one time they got somebody. He was a makanga, a matatu conductor. So they actually, you know, for some strange reason, I've never understood this, even today. You catch a thief, you just never know where those stones come from, those blocks, huge ones.
They start hitting.
So they were throwing the blocks on his head, on his back, and then the last thing is put a tie on his neck, light the thief up. That's
like he's not dead enough.
Yeah, they light the person up.
To die properly.
Yes.
Wow.
So
while now as a kid, you're watching this.
I'm watching how they're stoning the thief with these huge blocks, blood all over the place. Then the next thing, there is paraffin, there is a tire around the neck. They're lighting, you see the person on fire. Then everybody's thinking, we are Meisha. Then everybody now starts dispersing. Where? The gentleman woke up.
From the fire?
Yes.
And the stones?
With a tire on his neck.
And the stoning?
After the stoning, the fire is fire all over his body, a tie on his neck. He woke up.
He started
running.
Jesus.
I don't know where he got the strength from. Started running. Then threw himself kwa mtaro with sewage water.
To put out the fire.
To put out the fire. So unasikia tu moto imepoa. Then they are not done with him. They follow him there. They stone him inside that.
Because they found him.
Yeah.
They found him.
Yeah. So now growing up,
yeah,
we were so scared. Like if you steal even a pencil in class or something, this could happen to you.
Of course.
So that's the image that I had in my mind.
Of anybody saying mwizi.
Useme tu
thief.
Mwizi. You know, people don't reason, don't stop to think, oh, umeiba nini. No, that's it.
Do you know how many times they stone the wrong person?
Oh, many times.
Because the person who has stolen will catch another person and say it's this one. So there is no reasoning with a mob.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. So you would see that.
So I would see that.
What would it do to you as a child?
You're scared. You are in constant fear. You're thinking, the moment you hear mwizi, you also start running because it's just chaos. You don't know what's going to happen. So you live to seeing those images.
Yeah.
You have no mentor. You have nobody, nothing to look up to.
Right.
It's only your parents. And I'm glad, my dad and mom raised us so well. But, the naughtiness always catches up, with you.
Right.
And I was a very naughty boy.
I was going there. I was going to ask you, were you ever naughty? Did you join,
I was so naughty.
Did you join a gang?
No, I almost did.
You almost did?
I almost did.
Because I hear, like in slum areas, they recruit you by force.
Yeah.
Like if you refuse, you're in trouble.
The thing is,
Yeah.
you're in class, your desk mate
Yeah.
is a boy who's come from an approved school. So they've come to that school. So the school was almost like a dump site of kids of all character from all sorts of backgrounds.
Wow.
So you are in class, but you are in class with all kinds of characters.
Right.
There are many from broken homes, many don't have parents, many are orphans, some have parents, some have parents who are drinking all the time because of that toxic environment.
Yeah.
So there was really no hope. There was no example in school. There was no example from anyone coming to the school and say, you can actually come out of this. So you either put up or put out.
That is so sad. Yeah.
Yeah, and so the chances of joining a gang was so high.
So high.
So high.
Yeah.
So, and it starts in a very subtle way. It starts with unavuta sigara ya gazeti, which I did. Smoked it a few times.
So you just roll a newspaper?
You roll a newspaper.
With nothing in it?
With nothing in it. That's how it started.
What?
You smoke the black ink,
you
cough,
you
cough, kifo inauma, then you graduate to the next thing. So we never used to know what weed was. So we used to think it's grass, like normal grass.
Right.
So you'll take dry grass, put it inside the newspaper, wrap it up, and you smoke it. We were kids. We didn't know what we were doing. I remember.
So that to you was weed?
That for me was weed. I never really got to smoke
That's a good one. Yeah.
Never really got to smoke
at
weed
all?
At all. Me, it was those newspaper things and cigarette butts. So coming from school, you see ile mtu alivuta ametupa, you pick it up, you try smoke it.
Yeah.
We are kids. We don't know, But I remember.
Was your dad smoking?
No. My dad never used to smoke. He never used to drink.
Yeah.
All his life, up until today, still alive.
Oh, wow.
Never smoked, never drank alcohol.
All his life?
All his life. Same thing with my mother.
Right.
Never smoked, never drank alcohol. They were serious Christians.
Oh, they were Christians.
They were
so they brought you up in church?
Yes, they brought us up in church.
They brought you up in church,
SDA church.
Yeah.
And so every Saturday, we'd be dressed up. My sisters, wanavalishwa nguo za gorofa. Tunapakwa Vaseline. We take a bus from Dandora. We come all the way to City Hall. That's where the church used to be.
Yeah.
And then after the church, our dad would come, pick us up. At times, because he used to work a lot on Saturdays.
Yeah.
Then he will take us to Luthuli Avenue. There was a joint there that used to sell fish and chips.
Let me tell you, I know that joint.
Oh, you know it?
That joint was from God. That joint was not from...
It was heavenly.
It was heavenly. The chips was the one you eat closing your eyes.
They don't make chips like that.
They don't make them anymore. Even the fish, my good, I don't know how they used to do it, but it was the best.
That was the real fish and chips.
Yes.
Not the one for today.
Not the one for today.
So from church, we'd go, our dad will take us for that treat. Then after we've eaten our chips, na soda ya Fanta, then we go to Uhuru Park.
Yeah.
Then we'd go to Uhuru Park.
Right.
That was our Saturday hangout joint.
Wow.
So our dad will make us row the boats.
But he was a bushy dad.
He was.
That was a bushy dad.
Tuko wadosi Dandora.
Mko dando lakini watu wa...
My dad had class. He's a man of excellence.
Wow.
He had class.
Yeah, because I mean, come on, rowing a boat.
Yeah, even in that rough neighborhood.
Yeah.
He always dressed up well. He's a smart gentleman. He used to dress up well, nice suits.
Right.
He always brought food at home, like a typical African father.
Yeah.
He'll always come with a kakwota, ama kanusu.
Yeah.
So we never really slept hungry.
Right.
He really, really struggled and worked so hard.
For you guys.
For us guys growing up. And so on Saturdays or weekends, Uhuru Park was a hangout joint. We eat maybe ice cream. Then we'll just watch people
Even
walking.
ice cream. Ay, Dennis.
The
Even
Uhuru
ice
Park
cream.
ice cream.
Mutakuleta your ice cream.
Yeah. But that was once in a while.
Yeah.
That was a serious treat.
Yeah.
Even Christmas, that's where we would go.
Right.
Yeah, we just go, see what other people are doing, drink soda, eat chips. I mean, as kids, that's the best
That
treat.
was so amazing. Yeah. Oh my gosh.
But I remember in my naughtiness, I'll
Yeah.
never forget this till this day. So we decided, so I was not really focused in class. With all these distractions, it was really difficult to study in class because there is the smoke you have to deal with. So you're ingesting all that, inhaling all that pollution.
Right.
Then during lunch breaks, you have to rush back home. On the way, you're meeting all these things happening.
Yeah.
Then you have to rush back to school.
Goodness.
You're so full, umekula ugali, you can't even focus in class.
Unasikia kulala.
Unasikia tu kulala. Then after 2 lessons, again, we are breaking, we're going back home. And then in the evening, we're going for tuition. And so one day I decided, this was I think in class 5, I decided to join up with, so I had friends. And there was this particular friend, his name was Kiuna. I don't know whether he's still there. I hope he's watching this.
I hope he's watching.
He was my closest friend.
He was called Genyo.
Kiuna.
Oh, Kiuna.
James
Kiuna. Okay.
But now the thing about Kiuna that was so different was his father and my dad were friends, very close friends. They were actually part of the school PTA and that stuff.
Oh, okay.
Then Kiuna and myself and the brother, we were friends. But Kiuna was extremely smart. Now, Kenya was extremely smart.
Yeah.
Me, I was the other extreme.
Okay.
So, I will always...
You are meeting from the other side.
Yeah, so, yeah, him is here, me, I'm here. So, I was always pushed to follow Kenya, you know, do what he's doing. So, Kenya was also very smart in that he used to be very naughty as well.
Yeah.
We all play, we do all games. But if you exams, we're like, what time did you study? We were with you during the
whole
entire
even
time.
being naughty.
But he will still come number 1.
What?
He was always number 1. The worst for him was number 2. For us, we were fighting for, you know, like the...
Not to be last.
You know, like the Premier League. You don't want to be under a certain number because mtakuwa relegated. And so we used to fight ufike hapo katikati.
Yes.
Number 15, 20.
Yes.
Kenya was always number 1.
Wow.
So we decided to go to Kasarani. So Kasarani, there was a dam. So we had to pass through the dump site all the way to Kasarani. There was a dam.
Yeah.
What were we going to do? So we had seen a program called The Bold and the Beautiful. That program, we used to... My dad was a big fan of it and my mom.
Oh, really?
So
I loved it.
So we used to... Oh, you loved it?
The Bold and the Beautiful. With the ridge. What was his name? Yes.
And the car, was it Camel? Was it... I can't remember the name of the lady. But every home, that was the KBC program that people used to watch.
Let me tell you how God delivered me. Because even in prayer, I'm praying and I'm thinking, when is it starting? When is it? I knew it was time for deliverance. Yeah.
And you know, it used to come at a time when, I know there's a generation that does not know, there's a time TV ilikuwa inafungwa. At midnight, there's a national anthem.
Yes.
Then Calabars, the station is off until 6 in the morning.
Off until 6, and it has those colors now, you know. Yeah.
So us guys also used to watch Kidogo because we lived in a small house.
Yeah.
So their bedroom was on this side. Then there was a curtain that partitioned the bedroom to the sitting room.
Okay.
So as we are trying to do our homework and everything, so we were catching glimpses of the program.
Yeah.
So we were in that small house. And so where me and my sisters used to say was in the kitchen. So our bedroom was the kitchen.
Yes.
So we used to sleep together in that kitchen where my mother used to cook.
Yeah.
And our bathroom was outside. So it was just right across.
Yeah.
So if you are in a rush going somewhere and you need to take a shower, you better be the first one to that bathroom.
Because otherwise you will be late.
You'll be late because somebody else will be there.
Yeah.
Na nikabafu kale kakufunga na what is it called? A nail.
Yeah.
So we used to close the bathroom with a nail. So somebody will take a shower inside, they finish, then you're queuing.
Yeah.
So you enter next.
Yeah.
After you finish, another person gets in.
Wow.
That's how life was in that plot.
Right.
So I remember we went to Kasarani because when watching Bold and the Beautiful, we saw an aquarium. So I didn't know, as a young boy, what an aquarium is.
Right.
So you are seeing this aquarium with small fish.
Yes.
So sisi tukaambiwa, uko Kasa, there's a dam that has fish. We went with Kiuna and other friends to take our fish.
Oh my
So we get to the dam.
Eh.
We don't know how to swim. So apparently, people used to fall in that dam and die. It was so deep. So we are kids, we don't know how to swim, and we're going to the same dam where there are dead bodies. Some are found, some never used to be found. So we're going to catch fish.
Come and see, kids.
So we were going with plastic containers.
Eh.
So we're trying to catch fish, we're playing, catching fish, throwing water, doing all kinds of things. By the time we are done, tumeparara yetu yote. We are like ashy.
Ash.
Yes.
Yeah. You look horrible.
So I had my container with fish.
Yeah. You caught.
I caught fish.
You eventually caught fish.
I caught fish.
Hey.
Then I went home.
Wow.
I didn't know my mother was waiting for me because it was past school time and I had a curfew.
Yeah.
By this time you should be in the house.
Yeah.
So me, it's past that time, I don't even know what time it is. So I get to the house, it's late in the evening. My dad is waiting for me.
Yeah.
My mother is also waiting for me.
Yeah.
So me, I'm excited, mommy, see,
I caught fish.
I caught fish. So mommy's like, oh, nice, wonderful.
Yeah.
Just put it on the side.
Yeah.
So me, I knew it was fish.
Yeah.
But later on, I discovered it was tadpoles. That was not fish. Those were tadpoles. So my mother knew these were tadpoles. So my mother's like, so where did you get the fish?
Yeah.
So I'm telling her the story, so excited.
Where you went?
We went,
Kasarani.
we did this.
Yeah.
I didn't know as a boy the danger I was facing. Getting to the dam, we had to pass through the dump site.
Oh my God.
Inside the dump site, you have these street kids and they have their bosses. It's like a mafia in there. So they report to somebody. There's a leader or a president inside that area.
Dump site.
Yes. They have.
So it has a government.
It has
rulership.
Yes. It should actually have a national flag and their own anthem. It's a whole government. So they have their own boss. And this boss has other smaller bosses.
There are ranks.
There are ranks in there.
You report to this one.
Yes.
What are you talking about?
So for us, we were risking getting robbed of our clothes.
And losing.
And even being sodomized.
Sodomized, losing life?
It used to be normal back then, but as boys, we never used to know what that is. But it would happen. We used to hear those stories while growing up. So you'd hear, if you make a mistake going there, you'll not come out the same way again. But we didn't know as kids.
Yeah.
So we didn't know the danger we were facing going all the way to the dam, then coming back. So the anger that my dad had and my mother was like, do you know? They were happy to see me first.
Yeah.
But do you know where we could have found you?
Oh my God.
So one, you risk passing through the dam site, then there is the dam itself where people die. Let me tell you, my father, there's a difference between kuchapwa na kupigwa. Mimi si
kuchapwa na kupigwa.
There's a difference. Mimi si kuchapwa, nilipigwa. My dad beat me. And the beating is serious when there's a relay involved. Where he's beating me with whatever he has.
He catches.
He beats me.
Yeah.
Kifagio inaisha. My mother hands over another thing. Endelea. My father beat me like he didn't know me.
Oh Jesus.
like we were age mates.
Yeah.
Like, he really beat me. He really beat me up. Like he was so angry. And you see, as a boy, I didn't understand why he was. I mean, I've caught fish.
Yeah.
At least I brought fish
home. I've even brought food home.
Because,
we can even eat this.
Yeah, because that plastic container that had the tadpoles that I thought were fish was the aquarium I had seen on TV. So I was just trying to copy what I was seeing on TV. So this was my aquarium as a boy. So because we can't afford that, we don't know what that thing is.
But at least. And it's free.
And actually, we were calling them goldfish. Konazita hizo ni goldfish.
The tadpoles.
The tadpoles are goldfish for us. So he really beat me up. And I swore to myself, that is the last time you're beating me. I swore. I said, you'll never beat me again.
Really?
Yeah. You know the point
How so?
You know the point where you also get so angry.
Yeah.
You become so bitter. But I saw that you'll never beat me, meaning that I will never make another mistake to give you a reason to beat me.
To beat me.
I will never give you a
will
reason to beat me.
straighten up. Yeah.
So from that point on, I straightened. I straightened. I used to come home early because I feared my dad. I feared that I will get that beating again. I never wanted that beating.
It scared you.
It scared me.
Totally.
Yeah.
But can you see the dangers? You would have died that day.
Exactly.
Yeah, because those people, they would never have had mercy on you if they are already like in the street. So they are mad that they are out there.
Yes.
And then they have ranks, like you're saying, and leaders.
Yes.
They would have finished you that day.
And so, you know, the thing is, I see kids today that, they sue their parents for beating me. I'm like, you don't know. You're suing your father for beating. Our time, you sue. Where?
Which
Where did you find a lawyer?
They tell, here's a phone, call me. I know of parents who lived in the States.
Yeah.
So in the States, you're supposed to call. If your parent did anything, you're supposed to call. They will beat you and then they give you the phone. Yeah. Call them now. Let them come. You know? You know,
our generation, you couldn't stand up to your mother or father to say anything.
How?
Mommy, you can't beat me. Or daddy, you can't do this. What?
Or question.
You can't question.
Are you asking questions? Hey.
My father was the Father, Jesus, and the Holy Ghost in the house.
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course.
His word was law.
His word was law.
Yeah.
You could not do anything. How?
And he's a kissy man.
Hey, yeah.
And so that was the last time. So growing up in that whole neighborhood where we were deprived of a lot of luxuries and other things, so we couldn't compare our childhood to any other. I remember I never stepped foot inside a personal car or a private car.
Yeah.
Never saw it. I used to see it passing on the roads. We didn't grow up with toys. Well, our dad tried buying us toys here and there.
Yeah.
But all our friends, nobody could afford to buy toys. So our game time was going by the roadside.
Yeah.
Unaona matatu zikipita. Ile ni yangu.
Yeah.
Mine was called KZV 680p. I'll never forget.
You'd say that one is mine.
That one is mine. Because it had this loud booming music.
Yeah.
You know those matatu? It was so loud.
Kids, yeah.
And the graffiti, that's when now graffiti was on matatus. That's when it was starting.
Yeah.
So it was really cool, so colorful.
Yeah.
So we were so creative that we would watch a matatu pass by.
Yeah.
And then we'll get tins, cut them, or wires. We'd actually go steal people's fences. We cut people's fences.
Yeah.
Even the school. You cut enough wires, you come home. You take the broom, that rubber band, black rubber band, you get it, you cut it, you tie the corners.
Yeah.
Then you put a steering wheel. That is my matatu.
Your
that is
matatu.
my toy.
So you made your toys.
So we made. So the thing is, the life...
But honestly, look at how creative that was.
Exactly. You know, I credit my creativity today, and a lot of people come from slum areas because the school where I went to was a semi-slum school, by the way.
Right.
It was a semi-slum school.
Yeah.
There's no English you're speaking. English ni exams.
Stop.
English to ni exams.
No.
Nobody speaks English.
And the teacher?
The English teacher, well, the teachers will teach in English.
Yeah.
But once you leave class,
that's it.
There's no practice.
Swahili.
You
speak Swahili.
Not even Swahili. It's
Sheng.
just Sheng.
Wow.
Just Sheng.
Wow.
So what used to happen, and I think it still does, and that's why you see a lot of creative kids come from slum areas. If you actually do an analysis, you will find a lot of creative people come from such places.
Wow.
Because life pushes you to the edge.
Right.
And forces the creativity out.
To come out.
So you have no option.
You have no option.
There is nothing else that you have. You have no toy.
Because you don't have these dolls to play with,
you have no
so
toy.
you make it.
You have to make it yourself. You have to figure out that, but how do I make this from the normal things around me? So you have to do it yourself. My sisters used to have dolls.
Yeah.
And used to have friends who come, tunacheza kalongo.
Kalongo was so high, kalongo. Did it finish, by the way? I've never seen kids do kalongo now. You know,
Chama,
no, we must say kalongo. Kalongo, you would cut, oh my gosh, you've taken me so far. We would cut tins.
Yeah.
Tins and make that a jiko.
Yes.
You know, so that was our oven.
You did that?
Yes. Kalongo.
Oh my God.
Oh my gosh, we would cut and then make that and then cook with tins.
Yes.
And then go to the house and get flour, and then come and cook,
Cook
you know,
ugali,
cook ugali.
cook boga. So how we used to do, we used to do that, and then most times I used to play me in the Ochababa. So I used to have my wife, who would cook for me, and then they will bring on some small plastic things, boga, nyama, ini ugali.
Yes.
And we literally will eat it.
Of course.
And then after eating, I'll go smoke my newspaper.
Yes.
Like the way I used to see men do. So that was
like,
manhood.
like a man.
That was manhood for me. That's what I used to see. So food is brought to you. But life was so fun.
It was fun. Look, out of that, I'm a beautiful cook.
See?
Out of that, I really love cooking. It's my hobby. And then we would also plate grass. We would literally plate grass. And now me, I can braid.
Did you play kati?
I was bad. Kati. Kati ungenishika. I was so good at kati. Kati, blada, roundas, kalongo, chamama, chababa. We played all those. Bano.
Bano.
Did you do bano?
Oh, I was so good. I was so good with bano. I don't see banos anymore. Those things are not there.
These people don't know what they're doing. You know why? They've been replaced by gadgets.
Gadgets and TV.
Gadgets and TV. They've replaced all the creativity of the younger people. Because men, can you imagine you having that much fun doing all manner of things with your hands and with your mind? You
know, that was our extracurricular activity. After school, you had to do something. You are always playing.
Right.
So when evening comes, it's when your mother now tells you come back home, unaoga, hapo kwa ploti nje kwa basin, mbele ya kila mtu. You know there is no privacy. Unaoga hapo nje, then you eat. You sleep for 12 hours. You are tired because of the way you've played. But today you have kids who suffer insomnia. Because of watching too much TV. They sit a lot.
Too many gadgets.
And so that's why I said a lot of creative people come from those spaces. So there's a wealth. There's a wealth of skilled people who are extremely creative.
Out there.
That are out there in the slums. That are out there in the ghettos, in all these places, where they have no alternatives. They are forced to do this thing. And so my creativity back then was based on, we don't have a lot, but at least we have something.
And what we have, we use it.
And we use it. So we never had the luxury of you're getting into a car, your dad is driving you. Where does he put the car in the first place? Tunaishi kwa ploti. Hiyo gari anaiweka wapi?
Anaiweka wapi? Atakuta haina kitu.
Imeenda. So we used to panda matatus, buses. We used to sometimes, if you're taking a bus as kids from school back home, sometimes you remember the old Kenya bus that had two doors, the back door and the front door.
And the front door.
I remember one day my friends were so good at it. So mimi nikajifanya naenda kupanda basi, nikashikilia mlango. The bus started moving. I can't climb and I can't let go. So the bus starts moving very fast. So nakimbia na basi na ni mlango ya nyuma. So at some point I just let go. I hit the tarmac. I rolled several times. The back wheels of the bus nearly crushed my head. So there were women who were watching. Everybody started screaming. So I knocked my head on the tarmac, rolled to a trench that had water, sewage water. So woke up,
dusted,
and started walking back home. You know, you're in so much pain, but in that moment, because of adrenaline, you don't feel any pain. So me, I felt my pain later at night. Because when I went home, I had bruised here. In fact, I still have that scar on my shoulder and my knee. Up to there, I still have those two scars. So I lied to my mother that niliteleza tu kwa mtaro nikaanguka. So I got a tetanus shot.
Anakuona sahi, anakuona, anakusikia.
Sasa hawezi nichapa, dadi hawezi nichapa. And so we were naughty, we were creative. We were growing in this environment where there was hip hop. And so because of hip hop, that was the only way of expressing your feelings, expressing your frustrations. So we had groups uko fulani Maumau.
Yeah.
Back then. So we're growing with these young guys who can rap, who can do all these things. So we moved out of Dandora to a government house along Gong Road. So that was the culture shock I was talking about.
Okay.
So the first time now we're moving, we are living in a maisonette.
Yeah.
It's a government house.
Yeah.
The neighbors are Ethiopians, Luos who speak English. Nobody was talking Swahili. So I'm the only guy.
With,
with
your Sheng.
With
yeah.
my Sheng.
Yeah.
So my timidity started at that point because you're in an environment, nothing had prepared me for this. You're living in a place where the next shop is supermarket. Actually, it was hypermarket. That is your next shop.
And you're used to kiosk?
Kiosk, where
Mama Mboga?
sukari ni quarter.
Yeah.
Mama Mboga.
Yeah.
Mafuta.
Yes.
Pima.
Milk, you buy it there.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Now you move to a location where it's a hyper supermarket. I'm seeing people pushing trolleys.
Hey.
So as a boy, I'm excited. Even me, I'm pushing. I'm putting only one item inside, but I'm pushing the biggest trolley because I'm so excited. I mean, we would push those trolleys.
I love that.
Oh
Yeah.
We'd push those trolleys.
Yeah.
I'm seeing white people around me. I'm like,
what's
I
going
only
on?
used to see white people on TV.
Yes.
The Bold and the Beautiful.
Right.
Now I'm seeing a white person
Live.
physically like this, like, wow, that's hair.
Yeah.
So that's skin.
You would stare.
Yes, we'll stop and just stare because
Right.
we never grew up seeing those kind of things.
Right.
So we're in this neighborhood, everybody's speaking English. So they're playing basketball.
Yeah.
There was a church there on Gong
Wow.
Road where people would go play basketball.
So it's no longer
So
Kalongo.
hakuna
and-
Kalongo, hakuna Mabati,
Yeah.
it's basketball. So I'm like, what is this
What
game?
in the world?
So there are girls there. Now you see I'm growing as a boy, now I'm
Yeah.
a teenager.
Yeah.
Now you have interest in girls.
Yeah.
So you also want to talk and vibe girls.
Yeah.
But you can't speak the language. So the best I could do was, how are you? I am fine. Kizungu imeisha hapo.
Jesus.
My English was finished. After how are you, I am fine. There's no more English.
And you're saying it like that. How
Yes,
are you?
how are you? I am fine.
Yeah.
Kizungu imeisha.
Imeisha.
Yes. So I couldn't, play with girls or vibe girls because they would just speak English. Even
Yeah.
the Kenyan ones. So I used to wonder, but you are Kenyan. Why are
Yeah.
you speaking like this?
Yes.
See, you won't get to Kiswahili.
Yes. What's
So I
wrong
used to
with
be
you?
frustrated.
Yeah.
Why can they speak Sheng?
Yeah.
So my only friend was another friend of mine called, I think it was Collins. He
Yeah.
was the only one who could speak Sheng like me. So I could only identify with somebody with my
Collins.
background.
Right.
So I'm in this new neighborhood.
Yeah.
And my identity
Yeah.
is only measured by what I know. Because what I don't know, I can't relate. I'm exposed to something totally new.
Yeah.
So we are in Gong Road. We don't have a car yet.
Yeah.
So I used to see people spray, when you're inside a car.
Yeah.
And I used to think it's doom. So the first time I entered a car when I was grown up, I saw, it was actually my cousins, they were spraying the car. And I'm closing my nose like,
Yeah.
why are you guys doing this?
Yes.
So me, I knew it was doom. I
Yeah.
never knew what an air freshener is. So all these things were so strange to me.
Yeah.
So I moved there, and I'm getting to high school. I continue my naughtiness through high school.
Even in high school.
Even in high school.
But you're not coming late because of fear of beating.
No.
So,
So by that time, my dad never beat me again.
Okay.
After that beating,
that was it.
That was it.
You understood.
I understood. I got the message.
Oh, you got it?
Yes.
He didn't have to repeat.
Yes.
Okay.
So I'm in high school. Then I realized I'm in high school now. This is in Kiambu. So now you also have villagers. You have people from the ghetto. So we had groupings. So we had a group of people from the village who
Yeah.
I only identified themselves as villagers.
Yeah.
And we had a group from Nairobi.
Yeah.
And Nairobi, there were two groups.
Yeah.
There was a group from Nairobi that kunasema ni mababi.
Yeah.
Those were the rich kids.
Who speak English.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then we had now another group that was from the ghettos.
Yeah.
Madare, Kibera, Dandora, all these places.
Right.
So you are in school, and the only people you could identify with is the people who speak your language. And that's why language is so powerful.
Yeah.
And so I'm in school,
Wow.
and my creativity continues there. I don't feel like studies are for me. So I was part of the slum boys,
Right.
but I wanted to identify with the rich kids.
Okay.
So I was torn between relating to people from where I was coming from and people I aspired to be like. And these were the rich kids.
Yeah.
So they would speak English. I mean, they were well off, their uniform, they were smart. And how you knew these were rich kids, Ngoja visiting day on Sunday.
They will be visited.
Me, my dad and mom used to walk from the main road.
Of course.
Carrying a basket.
Yeah.
And they really tried. You know, I thank God for them. They,
Wow.
For our level, they really tried.
Yeah.
My mother would cook chapatis, they would bring chapatis,
Wow.
stew, and so would sit in an open field,
Yeah.
eat. But how you know now, for the villagers now,
Yeah.
ni hapo tu, wanatoka tu hapa wamebeba avocado, wanavuka tu barabara. So they just walk into the school, and then you'll just see them with the vitambaa. You can just tell these are villagers.
Yes, right.
For the rich kids, it's cars. Now they come with cars. So our father comes with the car.
Yeah.
There's another sibling, sister, brother coming with another car. Right. So one person is being visited by like people with like 3 cars.
Yeah.
So as boys in now high school, we used to stare along that car stretch. You're just looking at cars like, wow.
Yeah.
Wow. So they will go sit at a corner.
Yeah.
They would feed. So after parents have gone, a lot of them would still have a lot of food. So they will go distributing food to those ones who didn't even have.
Yeah.
Or some of them who are so mean, they will store up chapo. You know, if you keep chapo for a week in our own place, and our boxes used to be the mabati boxes.
Yeah.
You keep them for a week, they start having the molds and everything. But for some strange reason, me, I used to eat them. For some reason, you know, when you talk about God's grace.
Yeah.
There was grace to sustain us even when we were eating rotten chapos.
Yeah.
There was no effect.
Yeah.
Hatukumwa na tumbo.
Yeah.
Headaches, nothing. We were okay.
Yeah.
And so we were in that kind of setup. And so in class, I really struggled with studies. I really struggled with studies. I'm struggling a bit with my identity because of where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
I would see my parents worked really hard to bring us up in the best way possible.
Yeah.
But on this other side, I was seeing kids who at that point in time had made it.
Yeah.
I mean, they were living well, they were okay.
Driving, they were...
So I was like, why can't we be like them?
Yeah.
I was not, don't get me wrong, I was not feeling bad about where I was coming from.
Right.
I appreciated everything that, you know, my parents had done and where I was coming from. But I really aspired and I really desired
to get there.
This kind of life. And you see now I'm exposed to a new environment along Gong Road.
Right.
I'm seeing, oh, so there is another life outside what I'd experienced.
Right.
Fresh air, there are trees.
Toilet in the house.
Yes, we used to live not too far from where the late former President Daniel Moore used to live.
Right.
Now imagine where we are coming from.
Yeah.
And this is where now we are living.
Eish,
so we used to see
big.
his motorcade coming out.
Yeah.
So it's that culture shock. So you're exposed to this new environment, so you just want to stay there. You don't want to go back. You want this. So I'm in school, I'm thinking studies, is this really my thing? I hated math, I hated chemistry.
Oh,
I hated
same
physics.
WhatsApp group. With math? Oh, please. And chemistry, what's that?
Oh God, integers and formulas and like, it was terrible.
And X plus Y, what is that?
Yes.
What is that?
Yes.
How is X and Y something
the square
for math?
root of whatever.
What is that?
So I hated math, I hated these subjects. And for some strange reason, the teachers used to teach them were not likable as well. I don't know why. Walimu wa math,
Wanakaka math.
wanakatu math na chemistry na physics. So the teacher I loved the most was the English teacher.
Hey!
And can I tell you?
How come we're in the same WhatsApp group?
Oh,
This
your
is
favorite subject was English?
English. And that's the one I was passing.
I also passed my English.
Okay, thank you.
I loved English so much.
Yeah.
Remember where I'm coming from?
Yeah.
Tumezaliwa tukiongea Sheng.
Yeah.
So I'm in this new neighborhood, people are speaking English.
Yeah.
I also wanted to really speak English.
Wow.
And so I'm seeing these kids speak English
Yeah.
so fluently.
Yeah.
I'm like, how do you construct a sentence like that?
How?
Me, I know, how are you?
Yeah.
I am fine, thank you. Imeisha. So I couldn't express myself
And
to
now
girls.
the two girls.
So the girls are coming, pretty
Okay,
girls,
this is the best.
Ethiopian girls
Yeah.
are around you. You're growing as a boy, you like them, but
And
you
all
can't
you can do is,
communicate.
how are you?
How are you? I am fine. And it ends there. And so now I'm in high school. I'm like, me, I want to know English.
Yeah.
I just want to know English.
Right.
I just want to know English.
Are you thinking at that time that the English will take you anywhere?
No,
or you
I
just
didn't.
want to know?
No, I didn't. Let me tell you, this is the funny thing about how God takes you through a journey, even when you don't know it.
Right.
So back in Dandora, I'm in primary school. So my father was among the first ones, I think, in the entire neighborhood to buy a CD system, radio. So it used to be called CD changer, I think.
Yes.
My dad was, I think, a Luo in another
in another life.
So he used to love music. My dad used to love music. So he'd buy music. And so I started loving radio. And I started loving radio for the English. So I would listen to English songs, rhythm and blues on KBC.
Yeah.
I would never miss those programs. So I would listen to the presenter speak and introduce. I'm like, wow, they speak so well. So I just admired that. So what I would do, remember the cassette player? There were buttons where you could actually record whatever is going on.
Right.
So I would ask my dad for one of his old cassettes, can I use this? And he'd be like, yeah, use. So I would record a program, record songs, and I would sit for 2 hours
to
listen to a song and write down the lyrics. A 3-minute song, I'm taking 2 hours to stop. And you know how tasking it was?
Yes.
So you play, imepita, stop,
rewind, unaskiza, and then the English is so deep, so even to hear it properly is an issue.
So I used to write a lot of, I had a book for songs. I had a book song. So I used to write those songs, I'm listening, so I'm like, oh, so this is the chorus. It was repeated 3 times, I'm writing. So I would now start singing like them. Even when it was ladies singing, me, I'm just singing. Yes. So I'm just singing. I'm learning English as I'm singing. So as I'm doing all that, later on, I would be now we've moved to Ngong Road. Now I'll be in the bedroom. Now I had a bedroom.
Right. Oh,
my dad and mom had their bedroom. We had a sitting room. I had our bedroom. There was a kitchen that was separate. Have you entered a house? There is so much space. Because everything you had was contained in one room. Now you move to a new environment.
And everything disappears.
The bed, and then our African way of arranging sofas. It has to go along the wall.
Of course.
And then everything is finished. Now the room needs a dining table. You don't have a dining table.
You have no idea what to put.
So my dad really tried putting things together.
Yeah.
So I used to be in the bedroom. And what I would do, because I used to memorize the songs, so I would take Mkebeadu, the team, and I would sing, because I would see these on TV.
That was the microphone.
That was my microphone. So I would use that team and just sing. Sometimes I would just roll a newspaper, use the newspaper as a microphone, and just sing English. I was so excited that I could sing in English.
You know me, let me tell you why I'm laughing. This is so funny. If my siblings are watching this, I know they are laughing. You know why? To write those songs. At the rewind.
Yes.
What did you hear? Oh my gosh.
Some you didn't write and say your own things.
Yeah.
You know?
Yes. So, like, you know, this one I must say. You know the song, When the Beat Goes On.
Oh my God.
So,
yes.
my cousin wrote the song, and because of... And he was so sure. So we are going home. We are going to my shags. Yes. We are in the shags. And he's like, I got a song. We are like, now he's speaking to us at there is a mighty song, because he knows now these people from city are coming. Let me show them, even me, I got this. So he goes, and because of, let me tell you, we laughed, we were rolling on the floor because we understood it's and the beat goes on.
I used to do the same thing. So you get the English wrong, but you are so happy that at least you can just, there was nothing like voice, tone, nothing.
No,
you are just singing and just being happy.
Right.
So now I'm in high school. So I still have my songbook. I moved with it to high school.
Right.
So at that time in high school, by the way, I forgot to mention, you know that time bullying was like legal. You know, it was the era where bullying, especially from prefects, it was okay.
It was allowed.
It was allowed, it was okay. So it was the first time when I moved to high school, I shaved, I had a bald head. Because I always had hair. I had long hair. So it was the first time
that you shaved.
Now unajua unaenda form 1.
Yeah.
So umenyoa, my dad alikuwa anatunyoa. Hakuna kinyozi. Unakalishwa chini.
Yeah.
He's the one shaving you. Na makasi.
Yeah.
So nimenyolewa, now I'm in high school. So the culture shock now of boarding school. So we're queuing, they have gone. Now I'm actually, my bed is next to the door.
Yeah.
And then the bullying started. So the form 4s would come. And at that time, there were very old boys.
Yeah.
Hairy looking. Some of them were fathers. Not now high school.
Oh my God.
So somebody will come, so wewe unaitwa nani? Nani wako village huko tu Kiambu. So somebody will be like, so wewe unaitwa nani? Naitwa Dennis. Kofi kwa kichwa. Una jina moja kama panga. So I never used to get the joke. So like you have 2 names.
So you have to say all of them.
You have to say all your 3 names or 4 names.
Otherwise you're hit.
Yeah, you're hit. So the bullying started. This was new to me. So I had a new bucket. That bucket was gone that night. The bucket was gone. You know how you label a bucket?
Yeah.
Your uniform,
yes,
you write.
Of course.
That bucket was gone that same night. It was gone. So the bucket is gone. So I'm looking for the bucket.
Yeah.
So I go to an old boy, like, have you seen this bucket? Kuja hapa, kaa chini. Unaona hii bucket? Ijaze na hewa. And they all sit.
Oh no.
They want me to fill up the bucket
with air.
With air. So they will come up with, I don't know where they got those things from. I mean,
what are you saying?
It was so bad.
So you go and start breathing on it? Like for real?
Yeah, atibado jaja, unapuliza mpaka you become so dizzy. So you become so dizzy. Then they are laughing. They're having a good time. Then another one brings a smaller one. Umeshindwa ikubwa, leta ndogo. Jaza hii ndogo. So bullying was like normal.
What?
Yeah.
And would you report?
To who? You're supposed to report to the prefect.
Yeah.
The prefect will be
Is there among them?
It's like, it's like normal. So I remember there's a prefect who used to wash his clothes. When he finds us we haven't slept the time we're supposed to, he will wash his shirts.
Yeah.
And the punishment was kaa hapa chini mpaka hiyo shati kauke.
What?
So you have to sit there and watch the shirts.
You watch it drying?
Yes.
Although that was so wicked. Are you serious?
Yeah, they were very wicked people.
And they would sit there and watch you.
But their wickedness was so creative. I never knew how they got those things from. How do you even think of that?
Breathe until, you imagine?
You fill the bucket with air. And then they are there watching you. So,
and laughing.
Yeah, so I hated school.
Yeah.
So there was bullying.
Of course.
So you're being bullied. You are in this foreign place. I'm not one of them.
Right.
Because now this is central. So, and then I'm coming from this environment.
Yeah.
So I'm struggling.
Yeah.
With my identity. I want to aspire to be this.
Yeah.
But I'm coming from this. Then I'm being faced with all these things going on. It's a boarding school. I miss my parents. I miss home.
Yeah.
I miss the food at home. The food you were eating was terrible. It was
Yeah.
just boiled cabbage in big chunks and ugali. That's what we ate every day. Once a week would eat meat, but our queuing system ni hii nyama ya juu inaendanga ikiisha. If you are fortunate, you will get a piece. If you miss it, you will chew bones. And
Nothing
it was normal.
else.
Nothing else.
It was normal.
It was just normal. So I grew up in that environment.
Right.
So in class, I don't want to study. I'm thinking, no, my creativity is pushing me to do something else. Because I'm thinking I'm not really good with these books. And so, because I loved English, I used to read the set books day and night. To a point where Mrs. Gashoda was my English teacher.
Yeah.
And we still talk today.
Wow.
She's now a professor.
Yeah.
She has a counseling center.
Wow.
I later on, that's the impact she had on me. That later on TV, I would bring her to TV for an interview about if it's mental health, she'll talk about it. We became friends.
Oh, you became friends with her because you were very good. Now you started getting good at English. Yeah.
And I loved her.
Right.
And it's the way that she was teaching. She never, I don't recall a single day she took any student from class to beat the student.
Wow.
Mrs. Galshoda will just give you assignments.
Yeah.
If you don't do it, there's just a way she'll come and ask you, why didn't you do the assignment? She's born again.
Wow.
She was so polite.
Yeah.
The guilt itself will make you do the homework.
You will never repeat it again.
Disappoint her.
So tell me, Dennis, when do you now, in what season, at what stage do you start to feel that you actually want to venture into being a journalist?
It started by reading out the set books loud in class. So the teacher would pick me and I would read a paragraph.
Yeah.
So everybody was supposed to read a paragraph. But when it was my turn, I would read, the class would be so quiet. I used to sit at the back. So when it was the turn for the next person, everybody would insist, no, watch out Dennis Asome. So people would encourage me and say, let him just go ahead, continue reading.
Yeah.
Because I would read single words.
Yeah.
You remember the how are you?
Yes.
I am fine. So that's how I started reading. So I'll just read single words.
Yeah.
Then it got to a point, I started writing poetry.
You?
I would write, and now I had a songbook, but
Right.
it was also a poetry book. So I would write poetry. I didn't know what it was.
Yeah.
So I'd have thoughts come through my head and I would just write. And as I begin to write, I later discovered, oh, I can actually sing this poetry. Now, you remember my identity crisis?
Yeah.
Nina, I knew I was born to be a rapper.
Hello. Yes.
Now I was so confident, I knew.
Yeah.
I think I was born to be a rapper.
A rapper.
Because at that time, we used to listen to a lot of hip hop. So what do? I join up with a friend because I had a deep voice. So people say, hey, you have a very good voice.
Yeah.
Ukirap yani
Yeah,
manze,
that's it.
that's it.
Hiyo ndio area yako.
So nikaanza kuandika lyrics. So I started writing.
Yeah.
So we joined up with 3 other guys. So we had a group called Jad Squad.
Eh.
We were serious. So we had a group called Jad Squad.
Yeah.
So I'll go first. There's another guy called Shedi. will
Tell
go
us how
second.
you'd go, rap.
Oh my God, it's many years ago. I can't remember all of the
Rap a
raps.
bit. You must rap a bit. What you are writing.
Gosh. I remember the only thing, I know it will sound cheesy now.
Yes, yeah.
The only thing I think I remember was something like, Makini, Kako Makini, break the silence, icy flow, aka they know I'll make you know what you want to know. And then I move on. But
Wow.
the poetry was what I loved more. I mean, we were so good in rapping in school that
Really?
we'd go to other schools to perform.
Rap.
Yes. We were
Wow.
picked up by a club called True Love Waits. When
Yeah.
they saw us perform somewhere, we had beats. And so they're like, you guys are actually really good.
Wow.
Because my rap was
Yeah.
English and Swahili, a mix of English,
You would
Swahili, and
mix
Sheng.
it.
And so that time there was Kalamashaka. So people used to confuse and think, are these the ones? So we'd go to Limuru girls,
Yeah.
perform, and the girls would throw themselves at us.
And now you can speak English.
And now I can speak English.
Now you're not
and
saying,
rap.
how are you?
No, I'm not.
And now-
Now I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, yeah.
Now my English had upgraded.
Yeah.
Now it was the rap English.
Yes.
The black
Yeah.
English.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know what
Yeah,
I'm saying.
yeah.
So we were sagging our trousers. So I have pictures of, my pants were always, I was just always sagging.
You have those pictures?
I have, I think, 1 or 2.
Ooh, I need them. I
Oh
need
my
them. I
God.
need them, Jenny.
Oh my God, the internet will never forget this.
No, I need them.
But,
Hey.
so I embraced the rap culture
Yeah.
because they would speak English.
Yeah.
And then we started doing it to the point where we started going to Capital FM.
Yeah.
Sundays afternoons. We did an album. We did a music album at Hurlingham, a rap music album.
Yeah.
It never really got out. But as I was writing,
Oh,
I realized,
An album.
yes, I realized, wait, I'm actually writing spoken word. So later on, I actually do, up until today, I do it.
Oh, really?
I've never performed anywhere, never did it anywhere. This is just me in my room when I'm just loving on God. That's
Doing
all.
spoken word.
I do spoken word. I write. So how I write is very interesting. I'll just think of a concept.
Yeah.
For example, I would sit and think, so God doesn't have love. God is love. Then Jesus doesn't have light. Jesus is light. So I would just read the scripture, then I'll think, okay, so God is light. So God is love. Jesus
It's
is
light.
light.
Yeah.
So I start writing. I'll just find myself writing, just writing to him, not to perform.
Yeah.
I just write these things to him. My expression was through writing.
Yeah.
So because I was so timid, I couldn't speak English very well. And I had this, in terms of just knowing my identity at that crisis, I'm trying to identify to this group. I can't. I'm struggling with all these things. I'm struggling to figure out what was I really born to do. So my way of venting was through writing. So I found myself writing, and because I really wanted to write in English, I'll just write. I'll just write. So I'll write things like, I can say it?
Yes, please.
So I'll write something like, if love is light, then the heart is the switch. They say a stitch in time saves 9, but who will stitch our hearts? Who will heal the broken pieces that are out of line? You see, our mortal bodies don't have the ability to stand and speak anything good before a God who is holy. And that's why a man who knew no evil took our place. Jesus made the switch. No, Jesus became the switch. No one can turn him off. The Son of God came and they tried to cut him off, but his words when he spoke, he said they came from a place afar off, but that was beyond their human imagination. They grumbled and murmured. He created a standoff. They argued about the meaning to his profound, unusual words. To the simple, he was the answer. A problem to the wise. Jesus confounded all the rabbis.
Hey, Dennis, no, seriously, what?
Yes. This is just one of many I write.
And you've never performed?
No.
What are you talking about?
No, I just write them during my meditation when I'm thinking about certain things. I just write.
But you have to put them out there. Dennis, this what you've spoken right now?
Yeah.
I'm like, what? No, that's deep.
So
it's so powerful. You cannot hide it.
I've never really thought about performing, really. After I will tell you about my conversion in high school.
Even give it out. Even write it as poetry. This is too amazing. I'm serious. I'm serious. Now I'm speaking as your mother.
I appreciate it.
I'm serious. No, that's really powerful.
Yeah. It was just like one verse.
Yeah.
Yeah. I've written many. So
those can turn into songs.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
I've done songs as well. I've written
like songs.
Yeah, but not for performing. I don't have a voice to sing, honestly. So
but they are voices.
Yeah. So you know, when I was going through all that, I didn't know I was writing.
You know somebody like Pitson?
Yes, I
know. You know
Pitson does songs.
You know he's the one who does many songs, even the ones that so many people sing here.
Yeah.
He does the songs for them. He writes for them.
So I hear.
Give us those songs. We will sing for you. Don't worry. Don't worry.
So
because they are written by Dennis.
Yeah.
Do you understand? That never changes. Sissy Winans, most of the songs she sings are written by someone else.
So you know when I'm writing, I don't know whether I'm writing a song. I just write thoughts.
Why don't you give the thoughts to the singers and they'll...
Maybe I'll try.
You never know.
Maybe I'll try.
Those things, we can turn them into some serious songs. Yeah. Because you never need to just let the words like that. They are so powerful. You never need to let them just be hidden somewhere. Yeah. They need to go out and be a blessing to somebody. That light thing and love, hey, I felt it.
I've never had anyone tell me that.
No, it's because you don't say it.
Yeah.
Dennis, now that people are watching you, this one you have to bring it out.
Oh my
okay?
God. Oh my God. I'll try.
So fast forward now into journalism. Tell me how you now find your niche there.
So in high school, people would tell me, Dennis, you really have a good voice.
Yeah.
You can actually read. And so I started loving watching news as well. You know, in high school, you only had I think a day out of the entire week to watch news.
Right.
So I would start admiring what they were doing, reading news. And so I would go practice in class. Sometimes when I'm alone, I'll just read the set book. I'll just read and read one word after the other, just read. The pronunciation was wrong and all that, but I'll just read.
Yeah.
But I knew I was born to be in the media in primary school. Remember when I told you that my dad had this radio and I would listen?
Yeah.
I would admire listening to the radio presenters and I would start desiring to do. So the desire and the passion in me was so much that I never saw myself doing anything else. So here I'm in high school, I'm doing all these things innocently. I didn't know I'm just honing my skills. So I come out of high school because I got saved in Form 4.
Okay.
So I got saved in Form 4.
Okay.
That was my second salvation.
Yeah.
So I got saved in class 8. You know, when growing up, for some strange reason, especially when you're in school, I don't know, you're class 8 because of the exams, which I did.
Okay.
Or Form 4 because of KCSE. So during that
Which
time,
you
everybody
did.
gets saved,
Yeah.
which I did.
Yeah.
Now, in KCP, I got saved through a friend who took me to, so I saw a magazine that had all these testimonies, breakthroughs, So this friend in Dandora told me,
Yeah.
Dennis, why don't we go to this church? And I'm like,
Yeah.
I know I haven't studied very well, but I
Yeah.
need a miracle.
Yeah.
So let me go to that church.
Yes.
So I went to that church. I will not mention where it is. It's
Yeah.
somewhere in Nairobi.
Yeah.
And I had the strangest spiritual experience.
Oh.
Extremely strange.
Yeah.
So I know backtracking a bit.
Yeah.
But when I got into that church,
Yeah.
the ushers were dressed so smartly and everything looked good. Sat down. There was a big cross at, it's not JCC.
Yeah.
Because JCC has all that.
Yes.
And so I'm seated and we were told to close our eyes. We were praying. So I closed my eyes. I didn't know how to pray. I didn't know what salvation was. So I closed my eyes. As I'm closing my eyes, I heard the footsteps of like horses advancing. So my young mind, I'm trying to understand what's going
What in
on.
the
So I
world?
open my eyes. I'm just seeing an usher just standing next to me. I'm
Yeah.
not seeing anything else. Then I close my eyes. As we are praying, I'm hearing a loud noise of like horses approaching. I open my eyes. Everything is so calm. Then I ignored it. So the preacher there told us, oh, there was some prophetic act. We removed our shoes. There was salt on this side. We walked on the salt, went to the cross. There was anointing oil in small wrapped papers. So each person was just picking. Then we were told when you go home every night before you sleep, you put a sign of the cross on your forehead and you tell God what you wish for and you sleep. It was actually a cult. And I didn't know it was a cult. So I was actually in a place where it was cultic.
Yeah.
But as a young boy,
Yeah.
I didn't know it was a cult.
Yeah.
So me, I would apply the oil on my head
Yeah.
every night
Yeah.
to pass my exams. But I didn't. It didn't work. So me, I knew, this Jesus.
So you never passed. It doesn't
I
work.
didn't pass. I'm like, this Jesus,
Yeah.
no, it's not real. So I began to detest things about salvation from that experience because I tried the formula.
Yeah.
It didn't produce
It didn't
results
work.
for me. It didn't
Yeah.
work. And so I was like, these people lied to me. So this thing is not real. So I'm in high school. I'm battling this identity crisis thing. I think I'm going to be a rapper. I'm actually rapping. We're
Yeah.
going to schools to perform. Then I go home, I tell my dad, I don't think education is for me.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah.
I was born to do this.
Yeah.
At that time, the people I looked up to were Tupac, Biggie Smalls,
Hey.
Puff Daddy
Yes.
back then. You know, the hip hop stars
Yes.
in the 90s, you know? So
Young
that's Coolio. That's what I
and
wanted.
so strong, yeah.
Because these people look, they are rich, they've
Yeah.
got it all together.
With the chains.
Chains, they're hanging out with girls, and I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
that's what I wanted.
Yes.
I just wanted to have that kind of life. And so by the time I'm in Form 2, Form 3, it's so bad that I don't think education is for me, honestly. I went home one day and I told my dad, I don't think this thing is for me.
It's not working.
My dad held me by the collar.
Eh.
We had a balcony.
Eh.
So pushed me to the balcony. He told me, there are two things. I'll throw you down here right now.
Yes.
Or you'll go back to Kisi in the village, ukachune majani chai.
Choose.
Or you go to school. So which one? Mom, I'm telling you it was bad to the extent. You remember the Nairobi fly? Those Nairobi flies?
Yes.
So we
They
had
would
an infestation of
bite
Nairobi
and-
flies.
Yeah.
I used to collect them. I used to collect the Nairobi flies.
Stop.
And I would collect the Nairobi flies. I would put them on my hands, rub on my hands like lotion, and apply all over my face and neck.
You are joking.
That's how bad it was.
No.
Yes. And I'll never forget. I wish there were phones those days I would take a
They
picture.
must have messed up your face completely.
I looked like a Chinese. My eyes were small like this. My entire face was swollen. You know what? I have a big head. Now imagine a big face. My face was so swollen, my eyes became this tiny. I couldn't even breathe properly. So I went to the school nurse. The school nurse was like, you have to go home. What happened? I lied. I was like, I was sleeping on my pillow. I woke up and I was like this. Of course, I just wanted to go home. Because of the things, the bullying and everything that was going on in school.
Yeah.
And I'm
It had
struggling.
become too much.
Yeah, the bullying was too much. You have to fight to get bread from the shop. You have to fight for food. You have to fight. It was fighting for everything. It
Yeah.
was fighting to survive, basically, you know. And here I am, I'm not too sure what I want with my life.
Yeah.
I'm feeling this book thing is not working for me. I want to aspire to be this. And the only way of getting there is maybe through this.
Yeah.
Then I wanted to do anything to get out of school. So I go home. My dad looks at me in his office. We go to a hospital. There's some ointment. I stayed home that night. It was like heaven,
Yeah.
sleeping on my bed. But then the next day, my dad woke up very early. We are going back to school. He was a no-nonsense father.
Wow, 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 wow.
You're going back to school. He
With
knew.
that face.
Yeah, he knew.
He knew you
He
did
knew
something.
There's something I did. He
Yeah.
doesn't, because I was so naughty.
Yeah.
Went back to school. Another time, I refused to do a punishment. I was taken to the principal's office. The principal told me, Dennis, are you going to watch the class? I'm like, I can't watch that class. Our classes had portals. So we had portals in the class. So I refused. I'm not doing that punishment. I felt it was unfair. I
Yeah.
was being unfairly accused.
Yeah.
And you saw, I'm defensive. I'm fighting for my survival. I'm fighting for myself. I want to have my voice heard.
Right.
But the environment was just choking me up. The principal told me, so you have two things. Either you do the punishment, I cane you, or you go home. I said, I want to go home. He said, write what you just said. Again, write what you just said. I wrote, I want to go home. I don't want school. Went home. So I went home, told my dad, nimeonewa. I cried. My dad listened. The next day, I'm taken back to school. By fire, by force. Back in the matatu to school. So I told my dad, wananionea this and this, which was true. So I get in, so my dad is speaking to the principal. Look, kijana nimejaribu kumwambia hata nyumbani, but so my father turned. I was like, I thought when we were on our way, you were on my side. Now the principal is there, you are now on his side.
He's telling the principal,
yes.
Even me, I've tried.
He needs to be disciplined very well. My father left, went home. The principal went. He had a door that had different types of canes. There was one that was a broomstick. Another one was nyahunyo, several. So he picked the maximum one.
Nyahunyo?
Not nyahunyo, the broomstick, the biggest one. So he picked the biggest one. So he told me to lie on the table. It was the maximum of 6 strokes.
Yeah.
6, that was the maximum.
Yeah.
That's like a death sentence.
Yeah.
So he beat me on 6. Sorry to say. All the 6 landed on my one cheek, on my back. So for the next 2-3 weeks, I would sit in class like this.
Yeah.
I couldn't sit properly. I felt I'm disabled now. He beat me like he didn't know me. So that reminded me of the beating I had
of
when
your
I was
dad.
my dad. Now this is the principal beating me like this. I hated him. I honestly hated him. I felt rejection.
Yeah.
I felt, okay, so nobody's going to listen to me.
No one wants me.
But I was just being naughty. I had to pass through that phase. And so now I'm in Form 4.
Yeah.
I realize I've wasted so much time. Now I want to be serious with books. Now I have to go to biology. Topic 1, start all over again. The mocks coming. I'm like, there's no way I'm beating this. So in the midst of all that, remember I wanted, to talk to girls.
Yeah.
As any other boy in school.
Yeah.
It wasn't working. I was not very good in terms of, I used to be very good in expressing myself in writing.
Yeah.
Then I discovered I'm not really good in expressing myself in terms
verbally,
of
like, yeah.
So I would talk, I would act like I'm very bold, but inside I'm so timid and very shy. And so one day I had, these weekend challenges in high schools. So one day I said, I'm tired of this life. And I told God, if you're so real, like they say you're so real, make yourself real to me. I want to see, make yourself real to me. I don't want to hear stories. Make yourself real to me.
This is now after that church.
That church.
After all that.
This is now the second time I'm trying it.
Right.
I told God, I don't know what salvation is. I hear people repeat a prayer and they're born again. I'm like, how? How a 10-second prayer and you're born again? What is being born again?
Yeah.
So I didn't understand the concept. So at this time, I'm telling God, make yourself real to me. And I said, to test whether you really want me to get saved, because everybody used to preach to me. I was so known in high school as like a bad boy, wale watu wa mtaa, the rap guy. I was so good, and I would play basketball now because I want to belong.
Yeah.
So people, I was so famous. Everybody knew me. Like, Dennis kwa rap, uwezi mshinda. Honestly, I was so good.
Yeah.
But I was so empty on the inside. I was struggling to find myself. And despite the cheers, the fame, and everything back in high school, it was not satisfying enough for me. And so I told God, make yourself real to me.
Yeah.
And to prove that you actually want me to get saved, make a certain preacher come, because there's a preacher who came for a weekend challenge. We all loved him. He was so, you know the way you're funny. He would preach, you would laugh at the same time. It wasn't those serious ones from let's open our Bibles to the end.
Yeah.
He used to crack jokes. So we loved him as students. Guess what? That is the preacher that came for that weekend challenge. And it never happened. Like a repeat preacher, never happened. So I haven't told anyone this story. I'm like, okay, so this is the first sign. So it's the same preacher coming. Came with a big team. So this is a Friday evening. So me, I knew, okay, if I want to get saved, now I'm preparing myself to get saved.
Yeah.
So during the parade, we used to be told, cleanliness is next to godliness.
Yeah.
So me, I knew there's no way I'll come to God without taking
Being
a shower,
clean.
being clean. So I went, took a shower, wore fresh clothes. Went to the dining hall where the meeting was being held. I told the ushers, I'm not going to sit at the back. We were the noisemakers at the back when the preacher is preaching. This time round, I said, I want to sit at the front. The hall was so packed because students loved that preacher.
Yeah.
So the entire school is in the hall. There's no space. So the ushers tell me, there's no space, Ukombele. We look for it, but ingia tu kai mahali. I was like, if I sit at the back, I'm going to be so distracted by friends, I will not focus. I want to sit at the front.
Right.
I really insisted. Guess where I sat? I sat on the preacher's seat.
By accident or by...
No, not by accident. I was like, there's a seat there. He's like, no, you need to move. I was like, let me sit there as you look for another seat. Me and my naughtiness, and because I was also known, I was like, Dennis wants to sit at the front. What's going on? So me, I sat on the preacher's seat. The preacher is preaching. I'll never forget the message. It was the message on Lazarus coming forth. So I'm seated, the preacher is preaching. Then it got to a point as he's preaching, because my eyes were so fixated on him preaching, that I was like, when are you going to finish and make the altar call? Just finish. I want to get saved now.
I want to get saved now.
I want to get saved quickly. Finish quickly. So as he's preaching, I have my sweater on. I am feeling so hot and I'm feeling so cold at the same time. I cannot explain it. So I'm sitting like this. The next guy sitting next to me, and I think one of the members of his church sitting next to me, I start shaking. I'm just shaking. I'm like shivering, but it's not cold. I'm feeling a wind just blowing on me.
Yeah.
I'm like, what is this thing I'm feeling? It is not a bad feeling, but it's a strange feeling.
Okay. So
when the preacher was saying, close your eyes, I didn't wait. I lifted my hand before he started now calling for people to get saved.
Yeah.
So everybody's eyes is closed. So I start crying. I couldn't control my tears. I'm crying. So the preacher saw me. He said, thank God, thank you, Jesus, for that young man. Thank you, Jesus, for him. So at the end of the day, it was a few of us. We were told all to stand up. We were all prayed for, but the preacher singled me out and called me to the stage. He just hugged me. I'll never forget that hug. I felt loved.
Wow.
I felt wanted.
Accepted.
I felt accepted.
Yeah.
And as he hugged me, I'm still crying. So I'm so embarrassed. I'm crying because all the students know me. So people are so
strong
shocked. So there was a noise in the hall, like, Dennis has gotten saved. How?
Hey, may the good Lord bless you. You better join us next week, same time. It's going to be absolutely powerful.
You know, when two people come together, you are so much in love.
Yeah.
You have the product of your union. You have a child, for example.
Yeah.
Or maybe you don't.
Yeah.
But there was a time when you were so madly in love with
each other. Yeah.
You liked each other.
Yeah.
You loved each other's company. Gets to a point where it's not working.
Yeah.
That's when the real wickedness and evil really comes out. I'm a big proponent of take a step back, especially, that's why I said I'll speak for men.
Yeah.
Don't degrade the woman. It doesn't matter what is thrown at you.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what is going to be said about you.
Handle it.
You don't need to defend yourself publicly. And I'll be very brutal and blunt and to say, nobody really cares about your story. You're just entertainment.